Coco Gauff's heartwarming Thanksgiving surprise. New Orleans kids overwhelmed with joy. Thanksgiving morning in New Orleans usually carries its own rhythm. Slow, warm, humming with spices and stories simmering across neighborhoods. But this year, something felt different. Something electric. A quiet buzz had been sweeping through the Lafitte Greenway Community Center for weeks. Rumors floated in barbershops, in corner stores, in school hallways. Coco Gauff might be coming. No one knew for sure. The organizers kept their lips sealed. The volunteers pretended to know nothing, and the kids, wide-eyed dreamers who clutched their rackets like talismans, could only hope. The idea felt too big, too impossible. Why would the reigning U.S. Open champion show up on Thanksgiving morning? Why New Orleans? And why them? But miracles, especially in New Orleans, have their own ways of arriving. The arrival that changed everything. At exactly 9:17 a.m., a white van pulled up beside the courts. For a moment, it seemed like any other delivery vehicle. The kids continued their warm-ups, coaches whistling from the sidelines. But then the door slid open, and a cascade of screams filled the November air. She's here. She's actually here. Coco Gauff stepped out with the gentlest smile, bundled in a Saints hoodie, hair tied back, looking less like an international icon, and more like the big sister you'd call when your world felt too heavy. The kids rushed forward, but froze halfway, like they were afraid she might disappear if they blinked. Coco lifted her hands. "Come on, y'all," she laughed. "Thanksgiving hugs are mandatory." And the wave broke. Dozens of children surged toward her, not with a frenzy of fans, but with the pure, trembling joy of kids meeting someone who saw them, who came not for cameras, not for publicity, but for them. Parents watched in the sidelines, some wiping tears already, knowing what this meant for a community still healing from storms, from losses, from the heavy realities that young shoulders should never have to carry. A surprise years in the making. The visit wasn't random. It wasn't sudden. It was a fulfillment of a promise Coco made quietly 2 years ago, after meeting a group of young athletes who'd been training on cracked courts with fading lines and broken nets. She had told them, almost shyly, "I'll come back when it's rebuilt, and next time we'll play together." They didn't think she meant it, but Coco never forgets her promises. Over the past year, behind the scenes, she worked with city organizers, donors, and youth advocates to restore the community courts, resurfacing, painting, rebuilding fences, installing lights, and giving the space back to the children who needed it most. Thanksgiving was her chosen day, a day of gratitude, a day of giving, a day to remind these kids that dreams should never stay small. The Thanksgiving feast on the court, before the tennis even began, Coco insisted that everyone eat. Long tables stretched across the sidelines, covered with dishes representing the flavors of the city. Gumbo steam curled into the sky. Cornbread shimmered with honey glaze. Sweet potato pies lined up like medals. Volunteers carved turkey, passing plates to kids whose eyes widened at the spreads. Then, another surprise. Coco rolled out a cart of pies she personally baked with her mom, Candy Gauff, who'd quietly been in the kitchen since dawn. "Don't judge me," Coco teased. "I'm better at hitting forehands and baking, but I tried." The kids laughed. One brave boy took a bite and yelled, "This pie slaps." Candy burst out laughing. Coco pretended to bow. And just like that, the walls between superstar and children dissolved into pure holiday warmth. The tennis clinic that turned into magic. After lunch, Coco invited everyone onto the brand new courts. She didn't stand on a stage. She didn't give a speech. She simply picked up a racket and said, "Let's play." For the next hour, chaos reigned, and it was perfect. Kids ran everywhere, some missing balls completely, some trying to imitate Coco's signature backhand, others just happy to be swinging freely. Coco knelt beside the youngest players, gently adjusting their grips. She turned every flub into a moment of encouragement. That swing had personality. You miss, but you miss with confidence. That's elite energy right there. Parents watched in awe. One mother whispered, "She's not just a champion on the court, she's a champion in spirit." As the older kids gathered on the far side, Coco suddenly hushed them. "Want to see something cool?" She tossed the ball high, and sent a blistering forehand straight down the line. It cracked like thunder. The entire group exploded. Do it again. No way. She's real. Coco played a quick exhibition match with 3 teens rotating as her opponents. Every time one of them won a point, she raised her arms dramatically and pretended to faint, making them howl with disbelief. But the moment that stole everyone's breath came when a quiet girl named Amara, age 11, shy, thoughtful, accidentally returned one of Coco's serves with a clean, stunning winner. The court fell silent. Coco jogged over, lifted the girl's hand high, and declared, "Ladies and gentlemen, the next superstar." Amara burst into tears. So did her coach. So did about 20 parents in the crowd. The gifts no one expected. As the day began winding down, Coco called the kids together. Even the wind seemed to hush. "I know you didn't expect anything today except tennis and food," she said softly. "But Thanksgiving is about giving, and I want to leave you with something you can use to chase your dreams." Volunteers appeared with large boxes. Inside, brand new rackets, fresh grip tapes, tennis shoes for every child, and a full-year scholarship for training at the center. When the kids realized what was happening, the screams were deafening. A little boy hugged his racket like it was a long-lost friend. A group of girls twirled in circles, holding their shoes. One parent covered her face and sobbed, quiet, grateful, overwhelmed. Coco continued, "You might not know this, but I grew up like many of you, hungry to play, hungry to improve, hungry to make a better life for my family." Coco's final words before she left. As the evening descended and the lights flickered on over the new courts, Coco prepared to leave. The kids didn't want to say goodbye, but she knelt down to their level and smiled. "I'll be back. And next time, I want to see how much stronger, how much faster, and how much braver you become." "Deal! Deal!" they shouted in perfect chaos. She climbed into the van, waving through the window as the children chased after it. Still screaming her name, still riding the wave of the most unforgettable Thanksgiving of their lives. A legacy bigger than tennis. When the dust settled and families walked home, the newly lit courts still buzz. Not from the daylight, but from hope. The kind that lingers. The kind that changes people. Coco Gauff didn't just bring gifts. She didn't just bring food. She didn't just bring star power. She brought belief. Belief that greatness can grow anywhere. Belief that the next champion can come from cracked sidewalks and humble kitchens. Belief that every child deserves a chance. Not tomorrow, not someday, but today. And for New Orleans, this Thanksgiving will forever be remembered as the day Coco Gauff didn't just surprise a group of kids. She lit up an entire community with joy. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share. Till next time.